How can you know if you trust someone, if they're trustworthy? The foundation of relationships is trust. If the trust isn't there, the relationship is either on rocky ground, but generally just crumbles. And I am a life coach, been doing it for 12 years. And one of the big reoccurring themes is that comes up in coaching sessions is, can I trust this person? We don't want to make ourselves vulnerable to people that are not trustworthy, because that's how you get hurt. And oftentimes we ignore the red flags. There are little things that you might give you pause, or might make you suspicious, or might make you cautious. And it's easy to discount those things. Oh, it's just me, or I was cheated on before, so now I'm hyper vigilant and a little bit insecure and a little bit worried, and it's just me being paranoid. And we don't want to take, just one or two isolated incidents. We want to look at the person that we want to give our heart to and trust in the totality, in the character of their personality and how they engage with other people, how they engage with you, and be cautious and go in with the premise that people have to earn my trust. This is not like innocent before proven guilty, because there's a really good book called The Truth About Lying. I can't remember the subtitle, something along the lines, how we lie to other people, especially ourselves. Human beings inherently have a predisposition to lie. Why? Because lying is a way to get what you want without being exposed, without, like having your cake and eating it too. You could get what you want, and from what you want to hide from the person, and then what you want for you personally in the person's private life. Or we can puff ourselves up and make ourselves look better than we actually are. We can hide things that might cause people to look upon us unfavorably. And the thing I do in coaching is just try to encourage that the best path is just be truthful, be open, be transparent. And you don't have to get it all out at once. But a relationship that's built on truth and honesty, when it's very difficult to share, when it's difficult to hear, when it's difficult to engage in, is a relationship that you're going to have a much closer connection, a deeper connection, and it's going to be just open. It's going to be open, and it really builds trust. And I think that's what we all want. We want to find a partner or friend or coworker that we can trust, and really takes time. Trust is something that is not easily earned and can be quickly destroyed with even seemingly innocuous lies. White lies that everyone thinks, oh, white lies are okay. Are they? Yeah, some people feel that way. Other people feel like white lies is the gateway drug to bigger lies. And if someone tells white lies, then people start putting a question mark over their head. Well, they told this white lie. What else might they be keeping from me? And the motto in my coaching sessions, and if you're interested, the coaching is very affordable, and just send me an email. The consultation's free. And everybody benefits from it. So just if it's something you're interested, feel free to contact me. And the thing that I tell, a phrase I use oftentimes in coaching sessions is, we have two ways of doing things. We do things from a place of short-term gain. I'm going to do what's easy. I'm going to say what might not exactly be the truth, but it won't upset the person or won't make me look bad. For long-term pain. Short-term gain, a little white lie or a little deception. For long-term gain, for long-term pain of, I could erode this person's trust, or other people that know the truth can overhear me, or if the person I'm telling could tell other people about it, and it really erodes my credibility. And the thing that, again, I emphasize in coaching is being a man or woman of your word. your word is your bond, and it's something that you want people to have a lot of faith in. If they don't have faith in your word, then it really negatively impacts the relationship. And again, it negatively impacts the trust. You want it to be where you say something, you're going to do something, or you speak something, and the person has confidence. You're telling the truth, you're trustworthy, and you're going to follow through on what you said you're going to do. So important. And not only that, it makes you feel good about yourself and about your life. And the question is, how do we know if we can trust someone? What are some telltale signs? Now, we're not going to get into body language and all that intonation and all that different type of stuff, because a lot of that stuff can be misleading, especially if you don't know the person really well. You have to have a baseline. Like some people might say, oh, if they're not looking at you and making eye contact, they're lying. That's not necessarily the truth, because it could be that's a normal behavioral pattern that they have even when they are telling the truth. And if you know them very well, then you're better able to tell if they're telling the truth or if they're not telling the truth. So there was a movie, and it's an older movie, and I still remember when I saw it way back when. It's really stuck out in my mind. It was just a brief dialogue, but I used this dialogue from that movie to help me discern when someone is being honest or dishonest with me, and more important, helping me build trust with people. And I'm going to read the short dialogue, and it's from the movie called Adaptation with, I think it's Meryl Streep and Nicolas Cage. And it's a very interesting movie by screenplays by Charlie Kaufman, and from the book called, I think it's the Wild Orchid, I believe is the name of the book that it was adapted from. So Adaptation. And the first character, and I don't remember the exact context of this, but I'll just kind of surmise, give you a brief summary. That he had a meeting with a woman. I think the woman, it was Meryl Streep, and then he was coming back and reporting to his brother or his twin brother. Again, I saw it a long time ago, so that might be a little bit off there. But I got the dialogue. And the brother Donald asked Kaufman, what did you think? How did the interview go? What did you think about what she had to say? And his response was, Donald's response was, she was nervous. She's lying. And then Kaufman says, what do you mean? What happened? And Donald says, nothing. She said all the right things. Too right. And then Kaufman says, maybe they're too right because they're true. Did you embarrass me? Donald, people who answer questions too right are liars. And everybody who says Jesus and Einstein, that's a prepackaged answer. Boy, Kaufman says, what do you mean Jesus and Einstein? And then the conversation kind of drifts off. And that's one of the things I've really gotten good at picking up on, is this thing right here. When people say all the right things, when people don't say anything that makes them look bad, or say anything that's truthful but difficult to share, or that is going to make you feel uncomfortable or feel like you're being judged, they won't say anything that will rock the boat. They just they just play it safe. Their conversation's safe. Their conversation is like syrupy, like sugar water. It tastes sweet, but there's no substance to it. There's no meat to it. It's just kind of superficial and shallow, and it's almost like they are telling you what you want to hear. And that is a huge red flag, because we all have flaws, we all have imperfections, we all do things that we do wrong, we all make mistakes, we all have judgments about other people or things that we might not like, and we all have a past, we all have things that we might not want to share. And if you're engaging with someone who, these people that are just always very nice, always upbeat, or when you ask them a question, it's just like, it's that pre-packaged, it's kind of like eating fast food. It's just like, yeah, it might taste good, it might fill you up for a little while, but you just don't feel good afterwards. Like you've really connected with the person. It's shallow, superficial, and it's deceptive. And it's deceptive in a way that is socially acceptable, because we're taught, oh, don't offend people, don't tell the truth. That's if it's going to hurt them, on and on and on. And we also are very worried about protecting our ego. So it's very easy to just play it safe, hide facts from people, lies through omission, and just not be truthful. And when people, that's what bugs me about politicians, is one, they never accept mistakes. They rarely ever admit that they're wrong. And everything's wonderful. Everything's great. Everything they're doing is great. Everything's perfect. I mean, that life doesn't work that way. It's just not the way human nature is, and there's always going to be roadblocks, there's always going to be mess ups, there's always going to be mistakes, there's always going to be obstacles. And if a person's not freely admitting that to you, you got to question whether you can trust them. And if they're having uncomfortable conversations, if they're saying things that could be make things difficult for them, or more challenging for them, or shine a bad light on them, yeah, it's not ideal. I mean, I could see how human beings we want to avoid that. But man, when I experience that type of person, it just immediately, I feel a connection to them, and I feel a trust with them. I was reading a book written by a psychologist, and he starts off the book, he says, I have clinical depression. And he just like straight up, and you would think like, oh God, if he admits that, who's going to want to read a book about happiness from someone that has clinical depression? But I just immediately, I said, I just really admired and trusted the author a lot more, because he was so open and honest about it, versus if I would have read something on the internet and it was through a third party disclose it. Oh, this author, yeah, he writes a book about happiness, but he's really struggles with clinical depression. I would have said, why didn't he tell me that? How can I trust what he has to say? But he just disclosed the uncomfortable truth from the get-go. So that's a way to trust or to see if someone is telling the truth, but it's also a way for us to live our lives and us to set the example to say difficult things and speak truthfully, speak honestly, and not let shame and guilt turn you into a liar or turn you into being deceptive, because it doesn't feel good. You're signaling to yourself, you're sending the message, I don't like who you are. And so to yourself, so it just erodes self-esteem. It's like, when we can embrace the good, the dark, the positive, the negative, the happy, the sad, the ugly, the beautiful, because that's what life is. And if we can't embrace all of that, then we are going to suppress it, and it's going to affect our ability to connect with other people and for them to trust us. So I just wanted to share that with everyone, because it does come up in coaching sessions where I'm like, I'll raise a red flag. A client will tell me, hey, this person I'm dating is doing this. Is that something to be concerned of? And just helping people navigate those situations, and having a coach, a life coach, someone that's like a neutral third party, help kind of figure out what's going on. Because the way I look at it, most of us when we're dating and when we're in romantic relationships, people don't have patience, and we rush into the relationship much too quickly. And we make ourselves vulnerable, and then we can't understand why we get hurt, or why we're brokenhearted, or why the person deceived us or cheated on us. And that's why I encourage my clients to just take it really, really slow. Take it very slow, get to know them. And like, would you trust this person with $25,000, $50,000 for them to hold it for you? And I'll ask some of my clients that. And oftentimes they'll say, no, I won't trust them in person. Then why would you trust them with and be so intimate with them without really knowing them and giving them your heart, giving them your body, giving them part of your soul until you built that trust with them? And trust takes time, because in the initial stages of the relationship, everybody shows you their best side. It's the honeymoon phase, and you don't get to see the full scope of the true person until you encounter difficulties, arguments, obstacles, until you see them when they're down or where life throws them challenges. And so that's why just being patient, taking it slow. I know it might sound old-fashioned, but it allows you to get much more deeply connected with the person, to get to know them better, and to not have the physical intimacy or texting each other every night or seeing each other, 3-4 times a week, and you've only been dating for a month or so. It's like, just slow it down, be patient, and then see value in yourself. Because a lot of people will settle because they think, oh, who else is going to love me? I'm not going to be able to get someone else like them. And meanwhile, they're overlooking all the issues that will sink the relationship over the long term, like the issue of trust, like the issue of integrity and honesty, like the issue of loyalty and fidelity. And so it's just really important, guard your heart, be protective about it. And when you don't need a relationship, you just become so much more attractive. You take it slow. There's not that neediness or sense of urgency. You could say, no, let's just see each other once a week to start off with. And it gives the relationship some breathing room. And it's also attractive because it makes you a challenge. It doesn't make you seem like, you so quickly give your heart away. When I'm coaching clients, and not all the clients are able to follow, so I say, like, there should be no touching, no kissing, no physical intimacy. I know the pickup artists and some of the dating coaches are going to not like this, but like for the first 3 dates, at least get to know each other and just really be patient. And the clients that do follow this, it works out much better when you take the relationship slow. But that's just that short little scene from the movie, I think really is a great way to gauge somebody's truthfulness, not just in relationships, but just in life in general. And it's just a great way for us to live our lives, is to be more transparent. That doesn't mean we need to be an open book and share everything. You want to do it gradually and slowly, but if everything is rainbows, cotton candy, and unicorns, and everything's wonderful and everything's fine, and there's that superficial saying all the right things, it's a cause for concern. All right, if you did stick it through, thanks for sticking through the video. Love to hear your comments about what I've shared in the video and what your experience is about applying this type of advice to your relationship, or if you have other suggestions on how you trust someone. What things do you need to see in a romantic partner or a really close friend or a coworkers? What are the things that signal trust? And if you'd like coaching, hey, shoot me an email in the description. And if you'd like to support the channel, and some of you do, and I really appreciate it, there's a PayPal link. It makes a big difference. I really don't rely on advertising. I try to minimize the amount of advertising in my YouTube videos, but that'd be greatly appreciated. And comments, and if you like to see more of these videos, subscriptions. That's it. That's my message for today. And I would love your comments and feedback. Thank you very much. Until next time. Bye-bye.